I want to share another story. We've been doing this each day this week. We're going to continue through this week to highlight very well-known, successful people from different walks of life, but to highlight the same things that you deal with, they have dealt with. And so today I led off the program by saying I want to tell you about what you and your story have in common with one of the greatest storytellers of all time. And that storyteller is Steven Spielberg. Obviously, we all know Indiana Jones, E.T., Jurassic Park, Saving Private Ryan, Schindler's List, Jaws. The list goes on and on. If I didn't mention your favorite Spielberg movie, you get the drill. What you may not know about Spielberg is that he suffers, and I don't even like to use the word suffer, but it is a challenge. Now, I have a family member that struggles with it, but he struggles with dyslexia. And back when he was in high school, he didn't really know what dyslexia was and how to deal with it and how to come around it and see the brilliance of those who are dyslexic. But he had poor grades. As a result, he got rejected from the University of Southern California not once, not twice, 3 times. What's fun about it is, Joe, is he eventually was awarded an honorary degree and became a trustee later. Yeah. He didn't cut it back in the day. There's some rejection, folks. How many times have you been told no? All right, you get the drill. Let's keep moving. How about failure? Dropped out of film school that he was eventually readmitted to because he wanted to be a director. He eventually did finish his degree, even though he obviously never needed it. How about fear and doubt? At the age of 16, he watches Lawrence of Arabia in theaters, and he almost quit his dream of being a filmmaker because he was so intimidated by now looking at a movie through the lens of, I'd like to do that. And he was like, I don't know that I could do that. I must be fantasizing out of my mind. I may have lost my mind. How many of you felt like that before? How many of you feel like that right now? The dream is clear, but then when you see other people do it real well, you go, there's no chance I could do this. Steven Spielberg felt that way. But he kept watching. This is my favorite part of the story. He kept watching the film Lawrence of Arabia and started taking notes. So instead of being intimidated by it, he started paying attention to, okay, if I was going to have a chance to pull this off, what do I think I'd have to be able to do? And he began to take notes. And in breaking the film down and beginning to list out what he would need to do, he gets the juice back. Goes from being fearful and doubtful to hopeful and fired up. How about pride? He attempted to break into comedy with the World War II farce, 1941. Well, the film bombed. And he says that he spent the next year feeling sick to his stomach, feeling like a total failure. He runs into a young George Lucas and tells him how he's feeling. And that's when the story of Raiders of the Lost Ark came to him. And that turned into the legendary Indiana Jones series. One of the most successful men in the history of Hollywood, one of the greatest storytellers, greatest directors to ever get behind a camera. Had to deal with rejection, failure, fear, doubt, and pride. It wasn't an easy path for Steven Spielberg. Is he a genius? Yes. But did he just show up and declare his genius and everything fell in place for him? No. Be encouraged. What you're feeling, what you're experiencing, what you've been through. You're not alone. Here's a great quote to share with you. I love this. He said, sometimes a dream almost whispers. Almost whispers. It never shouts. It's very hard to hear. So you have to, every day of your life, be ready to hear what whispers in your ear. Now that's his experience. And I don't know if that's my experience. I think sometimes the dream can be really loud and in your face waving at you if you just have the courage to see it. But I also agree with how he said it. You've got to pay attention. It's that nudge. And I love what he says here. It whispers in your ear. So every day of your lives, you've got to be ready to hear what the whisper is. Because what tends to be the loudest in our ears are fear and doubt and pride. Those nasty enemies we talk about almost every day on this program. And I think Spielberg's absolutely right. When those voices are really loud, it's hard to hear, but you can do it. There's a way. You've got this. Do it. What's the whisper? So, last thought on this, because I think what he's saying is so profoundly practical. How do we listen for the whisper? The only way to hear the whisper is to be aware of the noise in our heads and in our hearts of fear and doubt and pride. All three connected, all three different, but they get louder and louder. The longer we let them stay in our heads, the louder they get. And it goes from being a lie to it feels, looks, sounds like truth. And so when we can identify fear, doubt, and pride, because we are clear, the process I teach in stage 1, what do I do best? What work do I love to do? What results of my work really make my heart sing? It's that clarity. And that's the truth. And when we can identify that, we're able to hold the voice of fear, the voice of doubt, the voice of pride up to the light of clarity. And we go, oh, you got me. You almost got me. No. I know the truth. And when we begin to see and feel and act from clarity, we hear the whisper. Clarity quiets the mind and the heart to where we can be present and we can hear the whisper. Did you feel that? Did you see that? I think we want to do that. I think that's possible. I'm not sure anybody else is going to do that. If I don't do that, those are the whispers. And you can only hear them when your brain and your heart are quieted from the fact that you are clear. And when you're clear, you know what you want to do and why you want to do it. You have a general idea how to get there. Those whispers are going to come. And that's where the extra concrete clarity comes. It's not sports broadcasting, Ken. It's a different kind of radio show. And the whispers just keep getting more consistent. And those whispers become more clear and they become louder because we allow ourselves to be able to see what we cannot see when we're clouded by fear and doubt and pride. So there you go. Your story and the story of Steven Spielberg or any other successful man or woman on the planet that you look up to have so much in common. Stop thinking that you're alone on this journey. Stop thinking that you're the only person that's ever experienced this. Stop thinking that what you're dreaming about is a crazy, wild fantasy. Stop it. And begin to dive deep into the process of getting clear. What do I do best? What work do I love to do? What results of that work would make my heart absolutely burst? Get clear. And when you get clear, you can see things that you may never see before.